It always takes you off your welcome to Rocco.
Hello and welcome to the Leeds That podcast. I'm James and I'm here with Rocco Dean
Hello.
and Darragh Cunningham.
Hello there.
We're going to talk all the latest Leeds United transfer rumours and stuff. But before we get into that, Rocco, what is that T-shirt you are wearing?
Oh, it's my Yorkshire Roses T-shirt for my team. 2 weeks today, we'll be playing in the Creators Cup at the South Leeds Stadium, which is a lovely venue. I never realised how nice it is. Second biggest cantilever roof in Leeds on that stand on the side, and that's not official. And the bar's open. It's going to be a lovely family day, and I have flogged at least 4 tickets today.
Good man. And all that's going to charity as well.
Every penny. I think that's the important thing to say. Every penny of the ticket sales is going to charity.
Yep. And the link for it is in the description below. Darragh, you've been keeping fit as well. Just been doing runs shy of 5k.
Yeah, that has been letting me down. So my app on my phone says it's all 4.9k, and my app on my watch says it's 5k. It's exactly 5k. So when I put it in the group, you were like, "When are you going to finally finish a 5k?" But I've changed my training now. So my training is now all about sprints. So I do 20 to 25 minutes of sprints, shuttle runs, back and forth, about 50-yard sprints, up and back. And then I juggle the ball because I want to get used to being tired and having to use some form of control. And there's the main man. I was going to speak to him about him there. Stephen Bourne just came up on the screen there. I was talking to Stephen during the week. He's flying over from Ireland to watch the Content Creators Cup, which,
Yes,
you have to
Awesome.
applaud that effort. Like, that's absolutely class. He'll be on the same flight as me on the Sunday morning, and no doubt he'll be out with us for a few beers after the match. So
Gary
looking
Kelly
forward to
coming
seeing
over.
That's a hard push.
Yeah. I think he wanted to play, but when he heard that you were playing, he was like, "I can't be intimidated by the skills of that Italian man."
And
Fair.
Dave Thornton's got his tickets as well, so that's good stuff. So yeah, we should. Well, we'll definitely all be there in some shape or form. I might be it might be a wheezy shuffle my appearance, but I'll definitely be there anyway. So yeah, looking forward
Context
to it.
on that: you're carrying a groin injury.
I
You've
am.
got to,
I am. It's so
it's
annoying.
curtailing your fitness work.
I keep checking in on our WhatsApp group to see if Darragh will allow me to go play some football because the whole plan was to get really fit, and it's been not the case. It's been difficult. So here we go. That's it.
And the match
But,
will be live streamed as well on Joe Blackburn's YouTube page as well.
yeah.
So for anyone who can't make it, there you go.
Links below. Tickets are dead cheap, about £7, £3 for kids. All goes to charity. It's going to be a really good day, and yeah, get behind it. It's going to be good. And yeah, before we get into it, special thanks to Bass and Bly, sponsors of the podcast, purveyors of the finest optics in the world, from around the world, but in Yorkshire.
Start baking, bring it in local.
Well, if you think about it, there's products from all over Japan. A lot of the Fuji stuff and Panasonic in particular is made out in Japan. It might not be anymore. It used to be. I'm probably lying. But still very, very good quality. Binoculars and spotting scopes. Some of them are made in Portugal. Some are made in Germany. Leica is a German manufacturer. Swarovski is Austrian. I went to the factory years ago. Flew to Munich. Went on the Autobahn to Innsbruck, crossing to Austria. Went to the factory. It's amazing. Amazing place. In fact, what was cool about Swarovski was that the apprentices, that in their first year of their course, they had to make a cuckoo clock. So in their factory, there was like hundreds of cuckoo clocks that they'd all
That's
made.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, isn't it? It's the kind of thing like Bielsa would install, like get them to make some sort of thing, get them to make a corner flag or a seat for a stadium.
Corner flag.
Good commitment, flying out there just to know more about Bass and Bly. I like that.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we all should do it. But yeah, go to www.bassandbly.com and you can get the very best in Fuji, Nikon, Pentax, Zeiss. There's loads of used gear as well. So get on there.
Lads, my battery's about to die. I did it again.
Oh, classic Darragh. We'll
Hold the fort. I'll be back.
We're going to talk Diogo Jota as well. But we'll come back to that once Darragh's here. So Rocco,
Yes.
what else is going on? Because I was asking you about transfers, and you were like, "Well, Beto, why have you put him on the list? Why is he in the description?"
Yeah, you messed up that list of
Yeah,
talking points.
I haven't messed up the list.
Gudmundsson wasn't even on it, and he's basically signed on it.
Well, he was on it, but in my edit, I've removed it by accident. So I will change that. But Beto, the reason why I included Beto is because the Mirror are still reporting that he's rumoured to be deeply linked with Leeds United. But it was the fact that they said the gangly forward is still being linked with Leeds United. I was like, why? That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, he's not Peter Crouch, is he?
No,
It's a bit of a strange one. Yeah, I don't know. Strikers is a funny one, isn't it? It feels like are they just waiting to see what happens with Munoz? I think he must be the number one target. Don't know. It's all quiet. I like the fact that they're building from the back. It's a bit old school, isn't it? It's what managers used to do when they had more than 6 weeks to make the mark on a club. They would build from the back, and it seems like we're concentrating on the back going forward. And Gudmundsson hopefully will be the next through the door in the building. Graham Smith's reported, hasn't he, that it's close, and I like the look of him. He looks very tidy. He looks intelligent, accomplished, good age, 26. Yeah, I think he's going to fit the bill nicely.
the best part of Graham Smith announcing Gudmundsson was the fact that 9 hours earlier he said, "Right, I'm off on holiday," and it's over to Joe to do the reporting, and then he was like, "Here, transfer rumours. Here I am." Just loves the clips.
You can't let Joe take the glory. That's the thing. You can't let Joe have that scoop on him. I watched a video on Gudmundsson actually just before this instead of getting a charger for my laptop. Yeah, you're right. Look at Rocco. He looks tidy, doesn't he? He looks really composed on the ball. He looks quite two-footed, although predominantly left-footed, but lots of good skills kind of with his right foot, and even a few shots with his right foot look really good. His highlights didn't have many defensive actions. That's not to say he could. I don't think he could do them. It's just whoever put the compilation together, it was all attacking moves. So
attacking's more exciting though, isn't it? That's why people do it.
Yeah, it's probably more highlightable, all right. But I would like to see a little more from the defensive side. But I'd like to think we've learned from Junior Firpo. Like, Firpo's first 2 seasons at Leeds were an absolute disaster. He was fine going forward and shambolic at the back. Whether or not he would have fixed that in the Premier League this season, if he'd been given the opportunity, is probably another thing. I don't believe he would have. But Gudmundsson looks like a good player. All right, I think we can give it a go.
My research revealed something quite striking, I thought. So obviously you can watch YouTube, but it can be misleading. So actually reading about his career, Lille signed him as champions of France. So they just won the league, and he came in replacing what looks like was their second choice left back that left, and he was straight in, and he took the place of the championship winning left back, played 30 games in the league. And kept his place for 4 years, which I think says an awful lot. So that's good.
We need proven, don't we? And this is going to be the question mark for everyone, isn't it? About proven in the Premier League, and is it a bit of a myth when it comes to Leeds United, like us signing proven players? Because we just haven't, have we? If you look at us historically, I was thinking about this the other day, and a lot of the players going way back. Even Phil Singer, Radaby, Eric Cantona. Oh God! But just there's not many players that we signed who came to Leeds that were proven, and they actually just developed incredibly well and helped kick on the club and obviously kick on their careers as well. But yeah, I think you can see everyone getting a bit frustrated that we're not getting big signings that are proven. But it's never really been the way for Leeds, has it? And I'm sure we'll get there at one point.
No, I think you're spot on there, James, because apart from Nigel Martin, Rio Ferdinand, David Batty, Mark Viduka,
but you know what I mean, though.
Seth Johnson,
But you know what I'm saying, though. It's like there's always a balance. Yeah, we will get some proven players at the right point, but I can't see it right now that we're just all of a sudden going to buy loads of Premier League quality players.
No, I don't think so. I think you're right as well. Premier League, there's always a premium on Premier League players. And that's part of the problem. To be honest, I don't think it matters if we buy proven Premier League players or not. That doesn't matter. What matters is how they adapt to English football. The one person I do trust is Daniel Farke. Like his recruitment and that of the backroom team has been absolutely spot on over the last 2 years. There's been very few signings who've come to us and failed. So to be honest, I don't really mind or care if they're proven or not, but they have to nail it. We can't afford another situation whereby we're buying people like Rodrigo, Mark Rocca, Christensen, like the likes of those, and selling them for nothing because they actually just completely tank when they get into the Premier League. I think Rocco's point about building from the back though is very interesting. Like, we were so bad defensively for our last 2 seasons in the Premier League. Like, teams are cutting us open, and on any given day it could have been 5 or 6 against us every time. So to do that, the thing where you build from the back, don't concede goals, you give yourself half a chance then of getting draws and wins, and that's what it has to be. I don't think we're going to be boring because I don't think we're a boring side, and Farke doesn't play boring football, but we do need to be defensively solid. So I also like this idea of building from the back.
Do you feel like we're okay when it comes to wingers and attacking threat? I say okay, but you look at Dan James and we've got a proven Premier League player there, haven't we? I think we take that for granted as well, that there are some really good quality players. I think Ampadu will step up okay. I see some scepticism in Rocco's face. What's he thinking?
God, yeah. Dan James has got a lot to prove. He's not proven Premier League. He's played Premier League. I mean, he played for Man U.
He played well at Man United.
Yeah, when he started well for them, and they weren't as bad as they were now.
And then he got put up front for Leeds United, so...
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's reasons, but I think it's a massive season for him. I don't think he's a proven Premier League player. He went to Fulham, didn't really play much, but I'm not concerned by him. I'm happy with the wingers.
The football that Dan James has had at Leeds is what he needed in terms of getting a season of just playing in the right position and getting back to his old ways. It's like he had this period where every manager just put him up front and then expected to go into a Premier League side and do what he used to do that they hadn't done for a year or so. So I feel for Dan James, but I think equally he's in a really good position to kick on.
I would disagree with Rocco on that one. I think he is Premier League proven. I think he played 4 seasons in the Premier League. He was pretty good for Man United to earn a 25 million quid move to us. And I think only for the fact that we got relegated and he nailed his colours to the mast and said he wanted to play for Leeds, I think he could have easily gone back to a Premier League side. I don't think there would have been a problem in him finding a Premier League side. But the other winger we have who is Premier League proven, and we can't say he's not because he's been there for 5 seasons now. It's
here we
Jack
go.
Harrison. Yeah. Now, I still think I wouldn't have him in my starting lineup because Premier League proven or not, he's not as good as Willie Gnonto, but he's Prem proven, and maybe that kind of dispels a bit of the myth about Prem proven being the main thing. Maybe it's not, because it's quality. Like, we could have Jack Harrison in as Prem proven, but I'd have Dan James and Willie Gnonto over him any day of the week. But I think he might have a part to play in the season.
I said this to someone in the week. The stipulation for Jack Harrison coming back to Leeds is your mum has to come on the middle of the pitch before you play and say sorry to all the Leeds fans. I think that's fair enough.
I think the reality of the situation is that if he does stay, within 90 minutes, we could be singing his name again. So, there'll be a lot of talk all the way through the summer unless he leaves. But when it comes down to it, we all know that if he scores a goal and, when he's running his balls off, it's what we've said for years, for Leeds United fans don't demand anything apart from 100% effort. Well, if that's the case, then, yeah. Why is everyone complaining? I know why they're complaining, but I don't think it'll take long for him to win us back over if he does well. So, yeah, that's it, really.
Stephen agreeing on the whole Dan James topic as well. And Tony's saying that he likes that we're recruiting a bit of height. Set pieces could be crucial for us this season. I think so as well. I think we need someone who can deliver set pieces as well. Is the main thing. We've lost Rothwell, our prime set piece taker, which probably segues into the fact that he signed for Glasgow Rangers, which is a great signing for him. I thought it was quite interesting in his what do we call it, signing on interview. That's like go to the job centre, isn't it? But on his signing on interview, he said, I had a bit of a tough season, didn't play before, and then came to Leeds and sort of kicked on. Words to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. Well, the manager that didn't play him that much the season before, he's gone to at Glasgow Rangers. So good luck there, Joe. No, I think he'll be fine. And there's even talk of him. He sort of emphasised the fact that he wasn't moving there to play national football, but he's eligible to play for Scotland. So there could be a chance that he gets in the Scotland team as well. But he'll do really well there.
Has he not got an Irish grandmother, Darragh? Have you had a look?
I wish.
Darragh's cousin.
Yeah, no, I'd have him. I'd absolutely have him. Look, we all know my thoughts on Joe Rothwell. I think if his name was Rothwellio or some sort of Italian Spanish name, we'd all think he's fantastic. But because it's Joe Rothwell, the roofer, people I think underestimated him.
Why didn't we call him Joe Rothwell? We're a season too late. I can't believe we just called it that.
He was super. Like take the name off his back and just watch his performances. He was complete midfielder for us and someone who rose to the challenge of playing at Leeds. I wish him all the very best at Rangers. Despite I don't wish Rangers all the best, but I wish him all the best at Rangers because I think he's got something in him. Maybe it's about playing for big clubs and he enjoys that pressure, the big stadiums and everything else. And Rangers are a big club. I think he'll do well there. But I think he would have done well wherever he went because I think last season he showed how quality he is. And it's funny when you mention about people's names and perceptions of people because it probably segues into another striker we've been linked with this week who even I would find somewhat underwhelming, although I haven't seen him a lot since his Premier League days, is Josh Sargent. It was funny actually. I was watching Joe Wayman talk about him the other day, and he said that people don't like him because of his because he's American and because he looks like Napoleon Dynamite, which I thought was very funny.
I like Napoleon Dynamite. That would be something that make me endeared to him even more. I love Napoleon.
If he could do the dance, if he comes on and does the dance for Napoleon Dynamite after scoring a goal.
Right, this is where Rocco's struggling culturally.
Absolutely
here,
no idea what you're on about.
Right, Rocco, add this to the list. Napoleon Dynamite, watch
it's
it.
Such a long list. I'm not getting through it at all.
No, it's true.
Josh Sargent, yeah. I mean, I don't know much about him. I haven't kept tabs on Norwich. I remember seeing him in the Premier League. I thought he was absolutely woeful. If I'm honest, I haven't seen him since. I believe he's improved. I trust the people who've said he's good, but for me, I still think he's too much like Patrick Bamford. Very injury prone, runs around a lot, good target man. One thing I would disagree with Joe Wayman is Joe reckons he's a better footballer than Peru. I would disagree with that. I think technically Joel Peru was an excellent footballer. I think some of the passes he can play where he whips that ball, even against Bristol last game of the season, that ball into Nanto. Jack Harrison-esque from the playoff semi-final against Derby. There's no way Josh Sargent is playing that type of ball. His goal against Sheffield United, the Thunderbolt, again, there's no way I think Sargent does that. But he brings other things to the table. The problem is, I think he's too much like Bamford. And we've already got Bamford on the books at 80 grand a week. So you can't have both of them. Both of them too injury prone. Both of them good number 9s. Both great hold-up play. Dodgy hair. But, for me, that would be an underwhelming side. And what do you guys reckon?
Go on, Rock.
Underwhelming. Yeah, I think if we signed him, I think Peru would start the season. I think that would be a vote of confidence in Joel. I don't see why Sargent would start ahead of Peru. But like you, Darragh, I don't actually have a clue. Never really seen him play, apart from against Leeds when he never seems to do anything. Yeah, hoping for a lot better, but also quietly, maybe not quietly, but I think Peru could surprise us, and maybe the club has more faith in him than we all think.
I think Peru will be fine. Again, we talk about Peru with some people in the week, and we got asked a question of whether he could get double digits this season, and I think there's a good chance he could get 10. that's double digits, isn't it? But I think he's such a good finisher, and he will get into good positions in the Premier League. And I've said it all along that he reminds me of Chris Wood, and Chris Wood managed to transfer the quality of the Championship into the Premier League. So the quality of his game in the Championship into the Premier League. So yeah, watch this space, I guess. But I'm feeling confident, quietly confident about Joel Pirou. It's whether we can get up the field enough to give him the ball, I suppose, isn't it?
It would be nice to give him a bit of help, though, wouldn't it? It would be nice if, on occasion, and on a regular enough occasion, because I'm talking about rotation, he could come off the bench and be really fresh for the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, which is what he's really done really well last season. Not to say I don't want him to start, because I'm a big believer in Joel Pirou, and I do 100% believe he would get double digits in the Premier League. I don't think there's any issue with that. But I'd love to see him get the support he needs. He doesn't have to be the man every game, because he does have little periods where he drifts in and out. And for those periods, you'd like to give someone else a run. But maybe Bamford's that guy. Who knows?
It's funny, isn't it, with the Metcha thing? Where does he come into all this? Like, that signing has really thrown me, to be honest. Like, is he the sort of guy that can just play all the way across the front line? He'll just maybe come on, run, do a bit of the Aronson stuff. I really don't know, but it has thrown me a bit because you've got Bamford. I just can't imagine Bamford leaving. I think you mentioned as well, James, previously, like he's got a year left on his contract. Like it doesn't make any financial sense for him to leave, and he's obviously motivated to prove himself in the Premier League. So I think he's here to stay. So if we've got Metcha as well, you're suddenly getting a bit overloaded there if you're not signing a real top one. I'm not sure where Sargent will come in then.
I think Metcha is a squad player who's also a punt. So it's like, bring him in. He's got enough quality and enough experience that he'll definitely do a job for us. Worst case scenario, he's on the bench and he comes on for 10, 15 minutes a game and holds the ball up, does whatever we need him to do. But best case scenario, he hits his best form, and you've just got a good striker who's leading your line for free. So I think he's a no-brainer. But I don't see him. I think it's all on him. I don't see him starting the season and in the starting lineup. I don't see him being even second choice as a striker. But then if he starts scoring goals, which he's more than capable of doing, then he puts himself in contention.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a bit of a gamble, isn't it? It's not a Jean-Kevin Augustin type of gamble. It's a more considered one, but it's...
El Hadji Diouf.
Yeah, maybe
great.
that.
He was.
But you were speaking there, Rocco, asked the question of maybe is someone who can play across that front line. And it immediately made me think of Diogo Jota. And obviously, everything we've talked about and read about and witnessed on social media has been absolutely horrendous the last few days. And really, really shocked me and everyone. I think, everyone I know has been talking about it in WhatsApp groups, and it's just horrific news for him, his brother, his family, just awful. And what I wanted to talk about Jota really was, there's obviously been so many mentions of him at Liverpool, and I know Rocco, your brother's a Liverpool fan, and obviously Isaac Johnson, who comes on the podcast from Leeds Live, is a big Liverpool fan as well. But I immediately went to the Wolves days of Diogo Jota, and I watched back the highlights of when we played them in 2017, 2018, and we used to have a feature on this podcast back then that was called Tracking Wolves, and a guy called Adonis wrote the theme for it. Hi Adonis, if you still listen. And the idea was that the seasons after that, we were tracking our progress against Wolves to see, because they had such an amazing season at that time, and watching it back and reading things about it again just reminded me how good Jota was. He came in at such a young age. I always thought he was way older. He always looked older to me. But he was such a good player in all those positions across the front line, and 130 appearances I think it was for Wolves or for Liverpool, I think, in total. But top scorer in his first season, and then when he went into the second season with Wolves, they went into Europe and he scored back-to-back hat-tricks for against Besiktas and Espanyol. But I watched the 4-1 highlights at their place, and he absolutely ran us ragged. I think he drew a second foul out of Ronaldo Vieira, who got sent off in that game. He might have chipped Lonergan. Yeah, he did for his goal. And he hit the bar at home at Ellen Road we saw him score 2 goals against us for Liverpool as well, and he could have easily got a third. And he's one of those players where, because we've seen him quite a lot over the years, or he's been in the vicinity of Leeds. Some players, when they play well against us and they sort of rub it in, you sort of hate them. But every time I've seen him play, I've just thought, oh, not him again, because he's just so good, like so good, and it almost these scenarios are horrendous, but they've really made me sort of look back and appreciate like how good a footballer he is, and then when you delve into it, you see what a good human being is, more important as well. So, yeah, just really sorry for everything that's happened there.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like, yeah, when you like, I sort of always just think footballers, they're all knobheads. It's like an automatic thing. But then, it's obviously not the case. And when you look, you learn more about people like Jota. Just an absolute diamond of a guy, and a brilliant player. And I mean, I watched the highlights of had to sit through him helping Liverpool tear us apart 6-1 at Ellen Road, and I quite enjoyed it though, because he dispossessed McKennie at one point, and then scores upfield and sets up a goal.
That's the first time I've watched that game back as well. It's horrendous, wasn't it?
Yeah, but when he scores and he barely even celebrates. I think he made it 5-1 with a lovely volley. I mean, the last goal he scored against Everton was like, just that absolutely summed him up. It was so typical Jota, like just dinking. I think he won the ball initially, and then he like dinks around a couple of players and just fires it in. It's just so sad. Like I can't imagine how there could be a bigger drop for a family. They've just had the wedding. They've just won. He's won the Premier League. He's an absolute superstar. Portugal have won the Nations League, and then for that to happen, it's unthinkable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's devastating, and take the football side out of it. You've got a family who have lost 2 sons, at a very very young age, just as their life is kind of taken off. You go through your childhood and into adolescence, then you hit adulthood, and that's the start of a new chapter in your life. And for that to be taken away from both of them so young is absolutely tragic. Heart goes out to his family. 11, as you say, Rocco, 11 days after his wedding to his childhood sweetheart, 3 kids without a father. It's tragic. I love the football world coming out in support of it. Devastating to see Ruben Neves as well. It was his best mate at the Club World Cup. During the minute silence, he was absolutely distraught.
And then he flew 12 hours straight after that to get to Portugal for the funeral as well, didn't he? So, I can't believe he played that football match. Crazy, isn't it?
Did you hear about what Seamus Coleman did? I've just read about this today. So Seamus Coleman showed up at about 11 o'clock at night to lay a wreath at Anfield, and someone went up to him and was like, "How you doing, mate? Thanks very much for for giving your respect." He's like, "Oh yeah, listen, no problem." He says, "I just wanted to do it quietly. I didn't want any fanfare or media or any of that. I just wanted to pay my respects." And I was like, Seamus Coleman, obviously a really classy guy, captain of Ireland, obviously, but another player in football no one has a bad word to say about. But I think it just goes to show to the level of respect that Jota had for everybody. He was just a quiet guy who went about his job and absolutely brilliantly. I mean, what a player, and he's going to be a big loss. And I slag off Liverpool as much as possible, but my hearts and my sympathies is 100% with the club, because to lose a player after just winning the league, and you're supposed to be celebrating, and they deserve to be celebrating. They've had a wonderful season. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. I just wish everyone at the club and his family all the best.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always hard to move on from these sort of things when we talk, isn't it? But maybe we switch to getting angry about our kit. Is that what we need to do? Unleash some anger in the foot.
Exactly the same as last season's, except a little bit of Lowfield's tunnel on it.
Yeah, and a little scarf on the back, on the top of the back as well. Yeah, underwhelming, wasn't it?
I don't mind it, apart from the blotch. Apart from that horrible splodge on the front of it, I don't mind it. It's a nice
badge,
shirt.
Rocco.
Well, that's probably how Red Bull see it, to be fair. And I don't think they'll ever take that off the home kit. I just hate it. It's not the fact that Man U wear red. It just looks crap. Like, I hate that splodge on the front of the shirt. If it was blue and yellow, it'd be absolutely fine. It'd look lovely. But it isn't. It looks crap. And all the training wear unless you're buying, if you fit into kids sizes, you're all right. But yeah, all the training wear they release, that's all got the splodge all over it as well, which is a shame.
We went through all this last season, and I think I lost us a lot of Twitter followers by going on a bit of a tirade about the about the red. Sorry, so I'll probably not say anything this season. I'll leave it to you.
You can have you're entitled to have your opinion.
I know I am, but I think it's an overt opinion where it is because I hate Man United. So,
which is also a very good Leeds opinion, if you ask me. Like I feel a bit weird talking about kit. I'm a 44-year-old man. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care. But you would like to see something a little different. And yes, I absolutely would love them to see the blue bulls instead, because I've seen mock-ups of it and they look class. Like I'd buy the one if I had the blue bulls. It looks class.
I thought you said blue balls, which is something completely different.
That's very different.
But yeah, I mean, do you get the impression that Adidas and the club were kind of like, it's similar to last year's? Off you get, right, here it is, it's on sale, and is it very much the impression that they're going to launch something that's, I think, probably going to wow people a bit more and be a bit more culturally stimulating, shall we say, as an away kit? I'm
not sure that it. I mean, yes, it's similar, but I mean, it's only as similar as it can be. You know, it's a white Leeds shirt. We don't want we don't want it to be too jazzy. You know, we're playing all white, so. I think it probably looks better, in real life, and it probably looks better on the players and stuff. I don't think it's that similar. I don't have a problem with that. Just the sponsor.
Yeah, no. Steve makes a good point as well, though. It just came up on the screen there. If the money from Red Bull keeps us up and helps us kick on to the next level, I can live with a little bit of red on the sponsor. Don't particularly like it, but I can live with it. But you're right. The other thing is, it's an all white kit. How creative can you get with it? Actually, there it is. There, Dave Thornton. How creative can you get with it with an all white kit? It is what it is. And let's face it, Rocco would go absolutely mental if they messed with the all white kit. So save the creativity for the away jerseys, and leave the white kit alone.
I'd take like an off white, like a cream type kit. Sort of like a nod back to, when you see the 70s shirts, because they've just worn a little bit in people's rooms, they've got a bit of creamy colour. That could be some sort of weird nod to it. Darragh's face then when I said a cream kit.
No, Leeds wear white.
I also get annoyed by like the signage on the stadium. So like, in the Kop end, the white exits. Like now they're just like all blue now because they've got blue sponsorship all over them. And granted, like it used to be green on them, which is obviously worse. But I just think, like, I just want it to look like it should look or used to look, and just be plain white on the exits and look like Ellen Road. But that's just me. I'm a bit weird like that.
You might have missed Robbie's comments, so I'll put it up again. We should bring back the number sock tags. I like the number sock tags.
I'd love that, actually. That'd be touch of class, wouldn't it?
Yeah, would be good.
No brainer, surely.
And Rocco, that was very much like man screaming at cloud, that comment about.
It winds me up, really does.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll. The players are back in training tomorrow, I think, aren't they? Yeah, well, I think usually they go to Carnegie, don't they? Leeds University, and do all the kind of sports tests, and we get some weird montage of them in some sort of long tube or stretching on some device, having some sort of Bane Dark Knight type mask on their face whilst they run on a treadmill. So yeah, apparently they're back tomorrow, which is great, but also alarming because I feel like we would have signed more players by now. But here we are.
Well, we've got 3 so far. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good start. How many drop will buy?
Gudmundsson
Yeah,
tomorrow, so that's 4.
And then outgoings.
Yeah.
Speaking of outgoings, lads, so we obviously know the ones who are gonna go. Joffy, Greenwood, JB, all 3 of them are gonna go. I feel Joffy could come back to bite us. I don't like. JB never got started, and maybe for 5 million was way overpriced in the first place. We should have spent the extra 5 on Lavia. Greenwood got messed around a bit. I think he started off as a good striker. He clearly is a good footballer because obviously great with a dead ball. Was it West Ham he scored a really good goal with his left foot? brilliant. Good curler into the far corner. And as well as that, anyone who can take free kicks and corners with both feet is phenomenal. But when Marsh started moving him into defensive midfield, I think he kind of lost his way a little bit. But Joffrey was player of the season, player of the month twice for Hull, and managed to pull them out of that relegation zone and keep them in the championship. I think he could still have a career, but I think it's probably still time for him to go. What do you reckon? Is it a sale or a loan move for Joffrey?
It's probably going to be a sale, isn't it, from a PSR point of view, maybe? I don't know. I don't even know if I understand PSR.
I think for his own career, he's got to go, sadly. Because I don't know. He did so much. He made so much happen. Like, coming off the bench.
Had some great moments.
Yeah, pretty much all the way through. He always did stuff when he came on, but then when he started, he never did anything. And the problem is he's not a 9. He's not been able to prove himself good enough to be a 10 either. He's not a winger. He's just one of these players that I think it's almost like he's been born into the wrong era. Like if he was in the 90s, he'd probably be having a fantastic career as in a front two with Brian Dean. He's just got to go, I think, and play football in the Championship. Keep doing that. Keep doing what he's doing for Hull. But yeah, it's just not the right time for Leeds, is it?
Did he have a better season than Joseph? On a personal level, which one of them do you think would look back in a season and be happier with it?
Joffrey, because he ended it well. Joseph started quite well, didn't he? But he's finished so badly. It was depressing.
It's hard to compare, isn't it? Because they weren't like for like in the end, because Joseph just wasn't playing as much, was he? So just completely petered out. But yeah, I think Joffrey will move, and I think it'll be good for him. He deserves it. He had some great moments at the club. Norwich is the best one ever, I think, of his. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah.
Got to say goodbye, a very fond farewell to Wober. He's gone out on loan again.
I definitely thought you were going to say Firpo then. That was the joke, wasn't it? I've just told the joke.
That's your PSR coming into it again with the loan thing. Like he should have been sold, but you're booking a loss, which you couldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyone who's not sure on that, because I think there's a few people kicking off why he's been sent out on loan, but if we were to sell him at a loss, it would go on the books as a loss, and then we wouldn't therefore be able to spend the money. So clever accounting and all that stuff has meant that we can use the money for the purchase of another player.
It shows how badly his value's dropped there, because I think his book value is exactly. 4 million, isn't it? And we can't even get that for him now.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, it's another one to add to that list of Victor Orta failures, and we won't get into it. I know. I get my blood is going. I believe he's at Villarreal now. How does he keep failing upwards? Like, seriously.
It's not Villarreal, is it? It's someone a bit worse. Oviedo or someone.
Villarreal.
It's a Spanish club, but
how's
he got any
Premier,
job?
like Spanish La Liga 1.
Yeah,
though?
probably. Yeah, I think so.
Jesus Christ.
It's weird, isn't it? That really annoys me.
Yeah, but I mean, like you got Fuber 15 million, and he's worth nothing now. You know what I mean? Again, Rocca, Christensen, Rodrigo, players we bought in for like guts of 100 million quid, all gone for next to nothing. Like, it's just, how bad was it?
Yeah, even the youngsters that we just talked about, like 5 million for JB, 3 million for Greenwood. And there was others as well, like Amanu Miller or someone like that we got from Birmingham for over $1 million. Helder, I think we paid 2 million for. I mean, we just threw away so much money on players that weren't even really professional footballers at that time. They were just academy kids. It's just awful.
And when you think about it, that's what has caused us to be in this position where, everyone's been talking about why aren't we signing Habib Diarra, insert Sunderland signing. And it is these transfers that have made our hands become tied behind our back, and I think we have to be so careful with who we bring in now for financial reasons that it is causing us problems. So the scouting and the pressure on scouting is heightened, I think, because of that. So we are having to do clever deals, what seem like cheap deals, and they are cheap deals, let's be honest, cheaper deals than Sunderland are having to make. Granted, they could be paying over the odds, but that's a Premier League tax, I guess. And if a club can get it, they'll definitely try and get it. The
thing with playing over the odds, though, if it even if it doesn't work, So if they buy Habib Diarra for 30 million and they go down next season, they could probably still sell him for 30 million. Like, even if he has only an okay season or below average season, maybe they get 25 million. But, like, it's probably worth the gamble. They're saying that I don't want us to do that. I think we set a value. I think we've got very clear rules on how we're going to approach things. But it's not good news that we lost Siddiqui as well. And I don't care the fact that it's gone to Sunderland. That doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is that our number one choice and the player who appears to be the most linked, let's say he was a number two choice, that's never good. If you haven't obtained your number one and number two choice players in a certain position, because then you're down to either number three or you're reevaluating again. Now the reevaluation could be a good thing because there might be a 40 million player or 35 million quid player who you haven't put in your list because he's too expensive, but rather than go for the third choice, you go, look, we've no choice, we got a plug for this other guy. So that might work in our favour. But yeah, don't care about Siddiqui going to Sunderland, but losing out your first and second choice players in any position is never a good thing.
I don't understand this thing about, like, everyone's just sort of like basically talking like it's a fact that Sunderland have paid over the market value. Like, no one decides the market value. Like, Sunderland have paid what they think these players are worth, and like you just said, Dara, like, if they play well, so if they're buying them as good players and they do well, like, I don't know how you can say that someone's market value is 10 million, but then at the same time say that you think they're going to do well in the Premier League. Because if they have one good season in the Premier League, they're worth 20, 30 million, what they've paid for them. So
insert Jorginho Ruta. We probably should have bought him for 20 million and then sold him for 40 million. But we we paid the same in and out. And we had to develop him over the course of a couple of seasons. So I take your point, but it's kind of both ways, isn't it?
But he didn't play well in the Premier League either, did he? He was a disaster.
Yeah.
Question there on Amari Hutchinson. What'd you make of him? Or Hutchison? Or Hutchinson?
Yeah, he's the Ipswich guy, isn't he?
Yeah, had a very good season for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going with the club. If they like him, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but from what I've seen, he does look good. I think it's one of those ones that's probably a lower priority purely because I think he's left winger, and wingers is where I think we should have our least priority. I think if we can get him after we've fleshed out the squad, then go get him. But if not, we've got other priorities.
Comment from Joe Blackburn. Our Sunderland are wrong. Let us have our copium. Joe Blackburn, the creator of the Leeds Creator Cup. So Joe has done a phenomenal job getting it to this point. So thanks, Joe, for... I think I've still got to do some admin stuff. I was looking through the comments earlier. I'm sure Joe asked us for something, so I'll hop in there after this, Joe. I promise. But yeah, the tickets for the event are on sale. The game.
Yeah, it's an event.
Well, it is an event, but I think we did such a better job of plugging this earlier and talking about Stephen flying over from Ireland and obviously Dario flying over from it that I've cocked it up now whilst Joe's here. But yeah, the link below in the description takes you to the website. Tickets are £7 for adults, £3 for kids, and all the money goes to Prostate Cancer UK because it has sponsors for the event. So any money that comes in from ticket sales, etc., does go straight to charity. So yes, anything else we want to pluck out? Is it this time right before the players get back to Thorpe Arch is tough because there's just so many unknowns and it's just the classic rumour mill, isn't it? But I think in typical Leeds style of late, I think things will just drop when they happen, which is good, which is what we want.
Well, what's interesting that happened this week is there was a big poll on Twitter where someone asked what are the 4 best podcasts or the best podcast in Leeds, and it was the Square Ball, it was Don't Go to Bed Just Yet, it was
Inside Allen
Road, and it was Leeds That Podcast. So you had these Goliaths of the podcasting world. You had Square Ball with all their history and legacy and members and staff and driven, and they deserve everything they have. They're brilliant. We love Square Ball. And then you had Don't Go to Bed Just Yet, with all the power of the BBC right behind them and a mega rock star in there with them from a top band who I'm going to see in August. And then you had the Yorkshire Evening Post. And who came second, lads? Who came second? Little plucky Leeds That. Get in there. So I did approach. So I think I went blank there. So I did approach the.
Now, hang on. Now's a good point to say because I don't normally like doing this since you don't. Like and subscribe if you're watching
Yes.
on.
So and
or
if it's
listening.
your first time watching, we usually have more stuff to talk about.
And we've only been doing this live stream thing for a few weeks, and we've only been doing the YouTube thing for a few months. We're predominantly an audio, heavily edited podcasts, so the things are only going to get better, right?
No, but I think it's important to say that we did reach out to the Square Ball, and we offered them, a fair deal. So Square Ball, I think, had 91% of the votes, and I think we had 8% of the votes in second place, and then the other two losers were way behind at like 5 and 4%. Right. So I did offer Square Ball a draw. We could call it a draw and just leave it at that. We're both equally the best podcast in Leeds, and I think it's a fair result. They didn't come back to me on it. Probably afraid to admit that we'd run them so close. It's only what 76% difference.
We'll take that.
I'm surprised we're that close, to be fair.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, news is going to start trickling in, isn't it? They're back in Thorpe Arch. Signings need to be made. They've got to get ready to go on their Germany tour. The pre-season friendlies are coming in thick and fast as well, aren't they?
Is Man U the first friendly?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's say
that's around the day of the Leeds Creators Cup, isn't it?
It's the day before. It's the warm-up act.
Yeah. It is the warm-up act. Go to watch Leeds v Man United in Scandinavia and then come back and watch the Creators Cup.
A real quiz.
So
and live stream it on your phone while you're watching it, so Joe gets loads of hits.
Yeah, exactly that. Any more? All I was going to say is we should have coming on the podcast next week a very lovely man called Hayden Evans, and with that we'll be talking about all sorts of Leeds stuff, some transfer stuff as well. But just wanted to remind everyone that the prize draw for winning this stupid amount of amazing memorabilia is still up and running. There's 5 days left, just longer than 5 days, where you could win one of 5 things: 2001-2002 full signed team kit. Where's the other one? Scroll past it. The 1996 FA Cup, Coca-Cola Cup final match worn shirt, fully signed as well. The promotion season squad signed shirt from 2009-2010. Radaby's testimonial match worn shirt, and the Bafana tribute shirt as well. So which is signed by Lucas Radaby as well. So, and each one of those will have one winner that'll be plucked out from the prize draw. So just ridiculous. And it's £3 per entry. You get a free ticket when you buy 3. I think there's some bundles that are on there at the minute. So yeah, get amongst it. Should be good. Good odds as well.
One of those jerseys. What I wouldn't give for one of those jerseys. I wish I could enter this competition.
Yeah, I know. Right, good stuff. We'll probably leave it there. I think we'll be back in the week, hopefully when some news starts trickling in. And as I say, Hayden's going to be on the podcast. And I think Isaac's going to be back on soon as well from Leeds Live. So I think things are going to start getting busy. But for now, thanks ever so much, and we'll see you all again soon. Cheers.